Sorry. I had everything... Oh, my nose now. Stuffy. I had everything set up. But as some may or may not know, I have a new puppy. So he's... I had everything set up and then he tried to fight me. So I had to beat the puppy up. Had to give him what I got. Now he's eating. So he's getting more nourishment for round 2, apparently. Dogs that just wag their tail when they eat. Okay. These 5 items are not. I'm sorry. These 5 items are not what they seem? Question mark? I added that. This is Top 5s. I like this channel. If you can give me a thumbs up just like I did, it helps out tremendously. So does subscribing to the channel. Both free options. You can donate to the channel through the thanks button. If you do, you request a video, your name sponsoring that video. You can still request without donating, and it just takes a little bit of time. You don't get that shout out. So let's get into what these 5 items are not what they seem.
This is just a plain old 57-gallon blue barrel. These things are typically used for storing industrial chemicals, but not this one. Do you have any idea as to who owned this exact barrel? Well, this...
What's his name? Not Ted Bundy. Oh my gosh, he's got glasses. Gay serial killer from Minnesota or Milwaukee. Cannibal. Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm going to say that's Jeffrey Dahmer's.
This was recovered from a now demolished apartment in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Boom!
And did have chemicals inside, but also contained 3 human torsos. This was Jeffrey Dahmer's blue barrel. It was purchased by Jeff in cash from a guy called Kai Whaley, who sold Jeffrey Dahmer the blue barrel on July 12, 1991. Kyle later went on to testify against Jeffrey in court. The barrel was recovered from Jeffrey's apartment shortly after his arrest and contained 3 torsos of his victims dissolving in acid. However, on researching this particular barrel, we actually uncovered something really deep. There's some weird timeline discrepancies from when Jeff killed 3 of his victims and when he bought this barrel and the acid, and some people believe there is a conspiracy at play that proves they were props to make the whole Dahmer case more sensational. Now, we're not going to go into it all here, but check out the Reddit link in the description to go down a rabbit hole that we regret going down. It's really some fascinating stuff.
Are they trying to say that he did kill people, but they put that there to make it worse? I have a hard time believing that.
Essentially, Jeff claims he killed his last victim and put his body in the blue barrel, minus his head, on the 30th of June. However, it seems he couldn't have done this, as he didn't get this particular barrel until July 12th, and the acid to dissolve the body was not purchased until July 20th, meaning he had dead bodies rotting in his apartment for almost 2 weeks before he bought the barrel. Check out the link and let us know what you think.
Maybe he got his own dates wrong. I get my dates wrong too.
The cauldron. This isn't a bad looking cauldron. Take a good look at it. In 1958, this cauldron was purchased at an auction in Wisconsin by a lady named Evelyn Mayer. After years of being used as a flower pot, it ended up in the family garage to gather dust. That was until Mrs. Mayer's grandson, Dan McClintyre, learned that this wasn't just any old cauldron. This cauldron belonged to none other than Ed Gein. It turns out a guy called Horace Brown was a neighbour of Ed Gein's back in the day and knew the Gein family well. Well, after the truth about Gein's crimes was uncovered, he remembers police swarming the house, photographing everything inside. When they had finished, he and another local guy called Howard Llewellyn helped to remove various items from the creepy house, including various gruesome human remains. Whilst he was there, he saw a large black cauldron in a shed, the edges crusted with dried blood and presumably human guts. Next to it were tubs and barrels that were filled with bloody human entrails. This was the shed where Gein gutted his last victim while she hung from the rafters. It would be 50 years before he saw the cauldron again, when he spotted it in McClintyre's parents' garage. As soon as he saw it, he recognised it as the same black cauldron from Gein's farm. Seeing the cauldron again must have brought back some unpleasant memories and smells. While realizing the gory significance of the item, in 2015, Dan put the cauldron up for sale. He believed it harbored a dark energy and was keen to get rid of it, apparently as those who had come in contact with the pot fell ill from a mysterious illness and such. While it caught the attention of none other than Ghost Adventures star Zach Bagans, and he purchased it at an auction in 2016, it's now on display in his haunted museum in Las Vegas. Now there is some debate about this one. I was watching a video from Grim Life Collective of a visit to the Grave Face Museum, and the owner of that museum suggested, without blatantly saying, that the Ed Gein cauldron is probably not actually Ed's, but who knows. If Zach does ever decide to sell it, we certainly won't be buying it, that's for sure.
Sorry. Puppy was wandering around and I lost track of him.
Wheelie bin. Most residents in the United Kingdom will be all too familiar with the humble wheelie bin, but 99% of us do not use them for humans like this one was used for. This one here was home for 8 agonizing days for Stephanie Slater after she was kidnapped by a guy called Michael Sams. On the 9th of July 1991,
Is a wheelie bin a garbage can? That's what it looks like. Just been laid down.
Michael Sams kidnapped 18-year-old Julie Dart after picking her up in the red light district of Leeds. He blindfolded her and took her to a warehouse where he kept her in a sealed wooden box. He forced her to write a ransom note to her boyfriend, demanding £140,000 for her release. However, with no real chance of the ransom being paid, he later killed Julie with a hammer and dumped her body in a field. By killing Julie, he hoped next time his demands would be taken seriously. On January 22, 1992, just a few months after murdering Julie, he kidnapped estate agent Stephanie Slater after pretending he wanted to be shown around a property. He handcuffed her, bound her legs and blindfolded and gagged her before placing her horizontally inside this exact green wheelie bin on the floor of his workshop in Newark-upon-Trent in northern England. Stephanie's hands were tied above her head and then tied to a metal bar under heavy bricks and rock. Michael told her that if you pull your arms down to try to escape, the boulders will crush your skull in. Although he did let her out to eat, she was blindfolded for the entire time. Sams again demanded a ransom of £175,000, and on this occasion it was paid. After 8 days of hell inside this bin, Stephanie was released, traumatized for life, but unharmed. Somehow Sams managed to evade the police after collecting the ransom and remained at large until a recording of his voice captured by police was played on the BBC Crime Watch programme all over the UK. It just so happens that his voice was recognised by his first wife, and she gave police everything they needed to catch him. Forensic evidence proved he killed Julie Dart and kidnapped Stephanie. In 2024, Sams is still incarcerated with no real chance of parole, and is among the oldest and longest serving life sentence prisoners in England.
How many times does somebody get the ransom and then release the person? I mean, it's probably, if we're going by percentile, under 10, probably under 5. Sorry, he's walking around. I mean, with it being so rare, I applaud him for actually doing that. I don't applaud him for the murder, but for the releasing him.
A comfy looking chair. If you'd been walking all day, would you take a seat in this chair to rest your legs for a bit? You probably would. But how many of you would jump up when I tell you a tale about this particular chair? This is called the Propofol chair. Any guesses? This is the exact chair that Conrad Murray sat in when he gave Michael Jackson some milk, a nickname he used for Propofol, a powerful drug used in surgical general anesthetic, and something Jackson had used before to help him sleep. Murray initially declined to administer it, but after Jackson could not sleep, Murray gave in to his request and injected him with 25 milligrams of Propofol, diluted with lidocaine. After Jackson finally dropped off, Murray momentarily got out of this very chair and went to the bathroom. When he returned to check on Jackson, he was no longer breathing. It was June 25th, 2009, and the world was shocked when global superstar Michael Jackson's death was announced at the age of just 50. Once again, Zak Bagans bought this chair, and along with Ed Gein's cauldron, it can be seen at his haunted museum in Las Vegas, eerily still covered in Jackson's makeup. Now before you ask, this isn't a paid ad for his museum, by the way. We've never actually visited it, but would be keen to do so if we head to Las Vegas one day. Let us know if any of you have been. Bath plug. Just an ordinary looking bath plug, yes or no? Well, you've got this far into the video, so you know this is not just an ordinary bath plug. In 2001, German computer repair technician Armin Mivers posted an online advert stating that he was looking for a well-built 18 to 25-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed. Not the kind of thing online adverts were invented for. But it was 43-year-old Bernd Brands who wanted to go through with it. The two met up on the 9th of March 2001 in Mivers' home in the small town of Westerfeld, west of Rottenburg and der Fulda in Germany. After Brands agreed to have his manhood cut off, west of Rottenburg and der Fulda in Germany. After Brands agreed to have his manhood cut off so they could both eat it, the pair started filming the ritual. Before the amputation, Brands had taken about 20 sleeping pills and a bottle of cough syrup to make him drowsy enough to not feel anything. After Mivers removed the organ with a knife, both men then attempted to eat it. However, finding it too tough, Mivers decided to fry it in a pan, making sure to add salt, pepper, wine and garlic to bring out the flavours. Still unable to eat it, Mivers chopped it up and fed it to his unsuspecting dog. He then ran Brandes a nice warm bath and left him there bleeding to death whilst he read a Star Wars book. He eventually had enough of Star Wars, so stabbed Mivers in the throat and killed him, then hung his body on a meat hook. Over the next 10 months, Mivers chopped up Brandes' body and ate it, allegedly accompanied with potatoes and sprouts. He later described the flesh as tasting like strong pork. In December 2002, Mivers wanted some more, so he advertised again. The police were alerted, and after searching his home, they found the gruesome videotape and some remaining body parts. Not long after, Mivers was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in prison, which I'm not too sure how we feel about. Thankfully, after a retrial, this was commuted to murder, and he was sentenced to life. Since being inside, Mivers has decided to not try and eat his inmates, as he's now become a vegetarian. His abandoned home in Germany has been raided several times. The bath plug was removed from the tub, where Bernd Brandes drew his last breath, and was recently sold for $499, but not to Zak Bagans this time. So that's some normal looking items that are extremely unnormal.
Ugh. Yeah, the last one's nasty. Okay. That was a very short video. I didn't realize it was that short. Interesting. Nasty, but interesting. Well, not a whole lot to add. It's October, so I'm knocking out a bunch of these types of videos, and this is one of them. So until next time, hope you enjoyed it. You didn't actually enjoy it. You was just creepy weird. But until next time, have a good day, have a good night.